Thoughts from the bike, day 3. So I want to talk a little bit, 5 or 6 minutes, about depth. So it occurred to me a few years ago that part of my waking up from who I was, my ability to, I'm on the bike by the way, in case you're wondering what the movement is. Where was I? So yeah, when you are stuck in your head, stuck in patterns, fixed mindset patterns, when you're not able to reflect on your behavior, when you're not able to challenge yourself, when you're not able to think creatively about things, and when you're not interested in personal development, usually what happens is people wake up in some aspect. They then seek change, they then seek personal development and personal growth, etc. All these kind of good things, and people do that in different ways. Some people do it through trauma, some people do it through gradual sort of need to improve themselves, other people do it because they've been told to do it, etc. But eventually you get to a point where you develop a growth mindset, and that means that you spend your time engaging and possibly thinking maybe too much sometimes about the world around us, about how people emotionally react, about psychology, about spirituality, about bigger questions like what's the purpose of it, why am I here, what value am I adding, how will people remember me when I die, what good am I, what's my purpose, right? That is one of the great psychological and philosophical debates of the human mind, is why are we here? And a lot of people who can't answer that have no sense of fulfillment or purpose, because ultimately, if you're not fulfilling in a purpose that's meaningful to you, you're just drifting along through life with possibly either complete ignorance and happiness or complete ignorance. And the point of this little diatribe is ultimately that some people on that self-awareness journey, on that personal development journey, who have this thirst, have opened that door to self-development, who want to change, who believe they have to change. Once you open that door, I believe, the way that you think about things, the way that you engage with people, the conversations that you want to have become much deeper, with gravitas, on a much more philosophical level, on a much more emotional level. And therefore what happens is that you suddenly find yourself engaging in a totally different from a totally different perspective, and therefore the people that you need to engage with need to be at that level with you. And I think one of the greatest challenges with people who are on this trajectory of wanting to improve, wanting to understand, wanting to make themselves better, to heal, to maximize their performance, to live a life that's meaningful while you're here, maximize the time that makes you feel fulfilled. That's what it's all about, right? Not just being content, but being content in a way that you feel is productive through purpose that you have. And a lot of that is the quality of the conversations, like the depth of how your being is being met. So the point of this is, are you in the right environment with the right people to facilitate your growth? Because there's nothing more soul destroying than people who are on a growth trajectory, that people who are sensitive, people who are awakening, who want to explore, and sitting around talking about football and the traffic and the weather and politics, and talking about other people and gossiping and idle tittle-tattle and meaningless drivel that a lot of people, no disrespect to you if that's you, but if you're engaged in spending your time talking about meaningless chit-chat, just be aware either you're doing that because you don't feel confident to talk at a deeper level with people, or be conscious of the fact that what are other people's needs in those conversations. And because you don't want to talk about your feelings, maybe you don't want to talk about your emotions, you don't want to you're not able to be open, you don't want to be open, you can't go there. For you personally, if you're not on that trajectory, don't expect other people to be with you and sit with you in the same relationship. So recognize that other people have different needs through the relationship with you. And if you are that person that is waking up and you are seeking more depth, then it's your responsibility to yourself to find the channels, whether it be social media or ideally people in real life, in real terms, people that will, listen to this carefully, people that will meet you at a level where they can feed your soul and your desire for greater depth of conversation and understanding. And I think where people are not meeting you and are frustrating you in whatever way you feel triggered by them, then the best thing you can do is move on. Not out of ego or arrogance, but because you will find yourself very, very frustrated, being held back by people who are emotionally, spiritually, mentally in a fixed mindset state. And if people are stuck in the past, or they're stuck in that simple need to remain the same, best thing you can do is move on. Really. Sounded a bit like Jordan Peterson then. Really. That's what he does. Really. Move on because it's good for you, not because you're arrogant, because you're feeling like you're rejecting people. And if people try and hold on to that, make you feel guilty that you're not giving them that friendship or you're not living in the past, you don't need to justify. It's really simple. A lot of people won't be where you're at. They won't want you to grow. They won't sympathize with your needs. They'll want to keep you in a box and identify you as the person that you always were. You'll see a lot of that from family. You don't need to explain, you don't need to justify. All you need to do is focus on your pathway, people that can add value to it, people that want you to change and embrace the questions, the conversations that you want to have in a positive, uplifting and progressive way. Move forward for yourself. Hope that helps. Comments below. Please share. If it helps someone, great. If not, great.